Good. All right, everybody. Welcome to our January Parrot Cove meeting. We're going to be doing sort of a general update type meeting this evening. A couple of different speakers will come through. A few weren't able to make it, but I have their information, so we're going to go through that. And we're going to start with a PBSO update this evening, so I'll turn that right over right now. Thank you.
Am I good? Introduce myself. I'm Deputy Barrett, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office.
Here, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you talk to the wall. You can stand back on this side. There you go.
I've been with the Sheriff's Office since 2008, which was the merger between the City of Lake Worth PD and the Sheriff's Office. Prior to that, I was a PBIL, a Lake Worth police officer. I've been with the city. I've worked in the city for the last 17 years, so I know the city pretty well, and the people that hang out and do the bad things. I ran your numbers for the last 30 days. Not too bad, all things considered. You had one vehicle burglary that occurred in the 1100 block of North Lakeside Drive. That vehicle burglary had a laptop taken. The laptop was left in the front passenger side seat. The vehicle was left unlocked, and it occurred between several days. So we don't know exactly whether it was a daytime burglary or a nighttime burglary. But I think the point I'd like to just stress is, Sam, and always lock your vehicles. We feel it was one of the owners taking the property and not letting the other owner know. We had one business burglary, which unfortunately happened right here. It was a nighttime burglary. A couple individuals decided they wanted to get in. They threw a sledgehammer through the door, came in, stole a couple TVs, made a mess of the place. It's unfortunate. There was pretty good video, though. We have pretty good detectives, so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up catching the individuals that did that. One stolen vehicle. There's a pickup truck stolen in the 200 block of 2nd Ave North. The pickup truck was parked in the driveway. Again, kind of like the burglary to the vehicle, we don't know exactly when it happened because it was over the course of a couple days that the vehicle was parked there. However, the owner, for whatever reason, left the keys in the vehicle. So these things happen. I would stress not leaving vehicle keys inside a vehicle. And leaving the vehicle unlocked, because section of the city thefts are the fact that there were bicycles, they were chained up outside, the locks were cut, and the bicycles were taken. Over the last 6 months, we've had lots of bicycles stolen throughout the city. They're just a hot commodity. If you walk into a bicycle shop, you can't find them. So I guess the people that are stealing them are getting a lot more money than they normally would. So my suggestion is, if you have a bicycle worth more than $100, you should probably keep it inside your house. Because, like I said, they're cutting the chains. Some people don't even lock them, but they're disappearing. And that's pretty much it for the last 30 days in Parrot Cove. Any questions?
You guys go out and I see a lot of things posted on Brandon and some of the outdoor, neighborhood updates. It seems like there's a lot of break-ins, a lot of people out at night, strolling up down the streets, checking the doors, car doors to see if they're locked. Are you guys out looking for those people at all?
Absolutely. Anytime we see somebody in an area that's after dark and they don't look like they're supposed to be there, and it's not what a person looks like, it's a person's actions. A 16-year-old at 2 o'clock in the morning with a backpack shouldn't really be walking around anywhere. Person that's possibly looking homeless is walking through your neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why are they there? They're not getting fed by anyone. They're probably up to no good. So yeah, we have regular patrols. My unit, which is the street team community policing unit, we do proactive patrols. We get an analyst that puts together information. North of you in the College Park section, for instance, was getting hit really bad by burglars. It's vehicles. Just constant, it's just the checking the locks. Usually come down from westbound. But we get an idea of when the people are coming, and we do a little bit different. We'll set up a vehicle and put something in it, monitor the vehicle, and hopefully one of these people will walk up and steal the item out of the vehicle, and then we have them. We do more operations like that, but the road patrol, they regularly go through your neighborhoods.
Do you guys find that a lot of the break-ins are because people leave their cars unlocked?
I would say vehicle break-ins, yes, absolutely.
It's not that they're.
A lot of people think that if they lock their vehicle, well, a person that wants to break into my vehicle is going to break the window, and I'd rather have them just open the door than break the window. I would say in the 17 years I've been doing this, probably about 90% of vehicle break-ins are just people unlocking the door. So I would highly recommend that lock your vehicles.
We tweet them before we go to bed.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yes.
How prepared are you all for hopefully nothing coming Wednesday between West Palm and here?
Without discussing any plans that the sheriff's office has, the sheriff is on top of the game. Mayor?
Have you noticed a lot more, when they shut down John Prince Park?
Homeless?
The homeless camps, yeah. And I know that they started
Wait.
the new shelter.
They do. Got to remember that we're sharing the shelter with the rest of the county as well, though.
I have a lot of people say that they saw more aggressive panhandlers and homeless in our downtown lately. And I don't know if that had anything to do with that, or the fact that West Palm Beach just created those new rules and moving them off the streets basically. So I don't know, has it been any influx?
Well, since the John Prince, obviously, yes, we did see an influx of homeless people. I don't know about the West Palm, what you're talking about as far as that. We do still regularly go out and talk to homeless people. We're still constantly, especially our unit, trying to get homeless people off the streets and into shelters and into the places that they have available. So we do regularly do that. Some people, it's hard. Well, that, and some people that have been homeless such a long time, it's all they know. In a environment that's not out on the street. It's unfortunate. It's true. It's a mindset.
Question for you, have you all been able to get your vaccines yet?
Some of us. We get updates daily from the local hospitals and places that have it available to us. I know a few of the people I work with have gotten their shots. I haven't gotten mine yet, but I'm planning on it. So yeah, it's kind of sporadic, kind of like I think for everybody, it seems like.
Are you guys priority or are you in?
We're priority, and the older deputies as well are a priority on top of that as well. So, I mean, obviously the sheriff got his, and we need the command staff to make sure that they don't come down with COVID or anything like that. But yeah, first responders are all priority. Good? Anything else?
I think we got one more over
Oh, in the back.
I
Hi.
just have a comment. I just want to say, as part of Parrot Cove, thank you so much for all that you and your team does to protect us and keep us safe. And I know you put your life on the line every single day for our community, and we're really grateful for that. So thank you.
Well, myself, thank you very much. And I know all the deputies I work with feel the same way. We really appreciate the support. We really do. Okay. See you next month.
Appreciate it, brother.
Well, my cheap mask just broke, so I'm gonna hold it like that. Okay, so a couple of items here. Thank you, Sergeant Donovan. So just a reminder on that, and it came up as well, you know, are the break-ins going to, are they forcing their way into cars? Are they that? It's historically been the same thing where they're crimes of opportunity. So they're easily prevented by remembering to lock your doors, lock your car. Usually it's just someone walking by, they either see the lock up or they just give it a try to rifle through the change and take things. And that's the majority of those types. You know, people passing through, they're on their way, transiting through our area. So always a good reminder just to keep your doors locked on your car in your house. And also too, to report any suspicious activity. Like Sergeant Donovan said, you see someone wandering around at 3 o'clock in the morning, or, you know, in the middle of the day when people are at work, just sort of hanging out, passing by, same person going in circles. You don't recognize them as one of your neighbors. It's a good idea to call into the PBSO non-emergency number. And I'm going to state that number in case anybody needs it. Hopefully everybody does have it. I'm going to look it up here. The PBSO non-emergency number is 561-688-3400. Again, that is 561-688-3400. And it depends whether you get the automated or not, but you just ask for, you know, Lake Worth Beach District 14. And you don't have to give them your name. If they say to you, what's your name? You can just simply state anonymous, you know, and they may ask you, do you want to be contacted? You can just say no. There, you know, it's 3 in the morning. I've seen the same person walk by 5 times. You know, they don't have a dog, whatever, and report those in.
Can you do that number one more time?
I sure can. 561-688-3400. That's the non-emergency number. And also, too, I'll add to that, if there's a particular nuisance, if there's a problem property or issues that's constantly going on, make sure that you give them the address, because that way the city can use the nuisance abatement. We used that when we had a lot of problems with issues over at the motel. It was very important that the address was recorded, because that way we were able to, and the city did invoke the nuisance abatement and went through a whole ordeal for them to clean that place up. So if there's an ongoing issue, make sure that you're doing that as well. Okay, so because we're doing a little different format here, let's take this off since I'm way over here. There's like 12 feet between me and the closest person, so I think we'll be okay. I'm gonna take this off. So this is our, third meeting that we're doing this way. So we're trying to do a little bit of a hybrid meeting where we give the folks the opportunity to come out who feel comfortable coming out, who'd like to, observing the normal, thank you, Luke. The normal social distancing rules that being observed in the restaurants and public places. And then we're live streaming as well for people at home who don't feel comfortable, or as was mentioned earlier, when you guys were up in Maryland, when you weren't back down here, you're able to watch. So that's why we're doing it this way. It's a little different than the ubiquitous now Zoom meeting. Every online meeting is a Zoom meeting. Although there's a lot of different providers. So what we're doing is we're live streaming at the same time on the Parrot Cove YouTube channel. So again, we have our audience here can ask questions, but for the people that are watching remotely for the live one, you can send in any questions on the topics through the Parrot Cove email, the parrotcove097@gmail.com. Or you can also use the chat function through the YouTube channel, and you can send in your questions. Our VP, Luke Watson, here is our AV nerd as well. So he's handling this for us, and he'll read out any questions if they come through. So with that, we'll move on to a couple of the updates we're going to do tonight. First, we're going to turn it over to our good friend and neighbor, Walter Harper, who's volunteered a ton of time and many hours for a number of years over at the Lake Worth Historic Museum. So Walter, if you want to come up and give us an idea of the exciting things you guys have going on in the world of 100 years ago, we'd appreciate it. Thank you, Walter.
But it's strange because, as you mentioned, 100 years, because I've just finished doing about 800 photographs, scanning them and retouching them, and I realized that it is over 100 years. And they're really quite wonderful. A lot of them are for sale, and they will be available when all of this is ending. We also have, I'm redoing the Pioneer Room completely and detailing the progress of the pioneers from, which they claim is from 1912 forward. And also, I've done a 6 foot by 6 foot mural to replace a lot of these strange faces that you would see in that room. Also, the Historical Society is doing a Zoom meeting, I believe on Thursday night, and a speaker who's going to give a actually informative talk about general worth. And general worth is now the idea of general worth is being changed a little because they found out some more information about murdering Indians and starving natives. And so we're kind of trying to distance ourselves from the idea that we're connected to general worth, as opposed to that we did get our name from the lagoon, which was Lake Worth Lagoon. That's Thursday on Zoom and the Historical Society. You can check on their website for the information. The last day we opened was March 7th, which is, of course, when everything closed, was the first day of an art exhibit. I did the first art exhibit, and it was Jill Carlin's work, which everyone knows. And it was very successful. And in the past year and a half or 2 years, we've had over 400 people visit the museum, as opposed to before. And part of the responsibility is that we were able to put up new signs outside, new signs around town, and with the help and support of Pam and your commissioners, we've gotten a lot of attention. And I'm hoping that we will get more attention when we open up. And I'm hoping that maybe we might even get another room upstairs. I don't know. But I would like to open a gallery. So to show the really local artists. We have a great artist scheduled for this season. He's a bookmaker, not a bookmaker, but a quality bookmaker. And he teaches at Atlantic, I believe down in Boca or something. Really beautiful stuff. We have a photographer, also Deborah, forget her last name right now. The illustrator and gardener will be showing her work. Deborah Yates. So these are a lot of the exciting things we will have, and I'm kind of excited about getting back in. I've been going through files and hanging posters and murals and things. And also Marion Cohn's been researching like crazy at 86 years old. It's absolutely amazing. And digging up little wonderful things. And is doing a paper on Childs, the architect, who did so many buildings in town. So we look forward to someday opening. I may even open certain hours with limited amounts of people, maybe a month or two from now when we feel safe. And I have to say thank you to the police. About 5 weeks ago, I had 14 of them come over my fence with Tommy guns, and they found a guy hiding by my pool who was part of a car theft. And so they were really very cooperative, wonderful to work for, and I was very glad that they were around. So if anyone has any questions about the museum, yes?
Where is it located?
Oh my God. It's the greatest piece of architecture in the whole city. It's the 50-story building. It's 50 stories downtown. And it's on the 45th floor with a terrace. No, I'm just kidding. It's in the annex building, which is just opposite the library. Also, speaking of the new library, which has been renovated, we're hoping that Blanche, who did the jazz on Tuesday nights at the bookstore, would like to come and do jazz in the library. We're not sure if that would work, but I have to say that it was probably one of the most exciting things that I had been to in Lake Worth. Those Tuesday nights at the Jazz was really wonderful. Because everyone and their brother came out, and I didn't even have to sing again. So, but it's back to a joke about singing. One of my neighbors runs an Airbnb, and previously people know that I was an opera singer. And so in the ad, she runs, you'll be living next to a former opera singer and occasionally hear him sing. I haven't sung since Madeline's funeral. So, but they're not hearing me. They're hearing records. So, but it's kind of fun to know that people are hoping. I'm hoping too, but I can't do it, so. Yes?
Did you mention that some of the pictures might be for sale?
They are for sale.
How do you get them?
Well, what you would do is come in, now that the pictures are all, will be on one computer. You sort through them and decide what you would like. Well, if you'd like to look, I could make arrangements. So, but we sell them for $25, and if you want us to produce them, they can be easily. We can put them on a thumb drive for you, and you can take them to Costco. Costco does a fabulous job. In fact, they just did 2 of our big banners for us for like $9 a piece. It was actually amazing. Full color and photographs and everything. And I recently had a request from someone who bought a home on Ocean Breeze, and it was the home of one of the first telephone operators. And so she wanted a photograph. And so she contacted me, and then it turned out that it was Cindy's grandmother who was the first telephone operator, Cindy, who runs the library. So it's interesting as I go through the history, how many people are still here? How many families are still in this town? And it's really exciting to kind of go down and get into, find certain people that are still here, the old churches, what's now in the replace of it, or also the Art Deco homes. We have some really great Art Deco homes. They're all annotated in the museum and in the Art Deco room. So if you wanted to come in the museum, contact me. I would gladly take you through privately. So we have to keep distance. But it's on the 45th floor. It's really not. It's in the annex building, and I'm hoping that we can get more support. And we don't need money. We need volunteers to come in and give a couple of hours a week. We're open Wednesday through Saturday from 3 to 4. 3 to 4? No, 1 to 4. 1 to 4. I can't remember. Look, I'm going to be 83. I'm brain dead. 83 I'm being upstaged by the inauguration. I hate it.
You still look good. That's the important.
Look, I still
Yeah,
can.
don't worry about the brain.
I can still Are you kidding? Someone called me today and wanted to know what I thought about politics. I said, don't get me going. For 2 hours, I was still going. So, yeah, the brain's still going. But thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
And if you do, you can contact me directly. And or go to our website, LW Historical Museum. Okay? And I'm glad to bring you around.
Thank you, Walter. Put your mask on. Put your mask on. All right, and just so there's no confusion, if anyone got excited while he was talking about pictures, they're not of him. They're historical pictures. All right, so you can make arrangements with Walter. Thanks, Walter. And I didn't need to explain, because he did already, that Walter projects his voice very well, as he was an opera singer. Just add a couple of things to the PBSO report, since I have Captain Bear's report. Overall, he's saying that crime is off to a good, it's not off to a good start. It's off to a low start for the year, so they're pleased with that. They conducted a prostitution operation a few days ago. This was 3 days ago, 5 days ago. 5 prostitutes were charged with offering to commit prostitution. and the community policing, which is exactly what you saw here this evening when the deputies come out and speak with us, amongst other things. So he said, hopefully you are seeing and interacting with our deputies. Here we go. They're doing more park, walk, and talk activity around town. They've been using other vehicles such as bicycles and ATVs, which makes them more approachable. Lieutenant Lavina and Captain Bear have had a good meeting last night with local pastors from the South End churches. And he also mentions COVID-19. I know that question came up. Hopefully more opportunities for them for vaccines will be coming for the deputies in the near future. It seems like everybody else there part of the overall rollout. So that's that for the PBSO part. We had a couple other people that were going to give us their updates directly. One of them wasn't feeling well, so we just stay as far away from us as possible. So I'm going to give a couple, so kind of excuse me as I jump around because I'm trying to go from notes to email to notes to email back and forth here. All right, so I'm going to move along Lake Worth Playhouse. Daniel Iolia from, which I just butchered his name, from Lake Worth Playhouse. He is the artistic director. He was going to come out today. He's not feeling terribly well. We asked him just to send over something, so we'll provide that update to everybody. So the Lake Worth Playhouse is currently presenting live theater with 2 shows on its stages this coming weekend. So Always, Patsy Cline, a musical based on the career of country music legend Patsy Cline, featuring a live band. That's January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th on the Main Stage Theater. And they also have Endgame by Samuel Beckett. Endgame is a 1-act play by Nobel Prize-winning Irish playwright Samuel Beckett, considered a masterpiece of modern absurdity. That's going on January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th as well, but that's at the neighboring theater, the Stonezik Studio Theater. So as per county regulations, masks must be worn in the theater, seats are limited, and social distancing is in place throughout the building. Temperature checks are required for everybody that's entering the building. Hand sanitizing areas are placed throughout the lobby and inside the theater. The theater is also routinely sanitized by an electrostatic cleaner after the event. For tickets and show times, you can visit the lakeworthplayhouse.org for that. In fact, I know a couple people that are going to be in an upcoming show that's starting in February, so it's good to see that they're keeping things going as best they can within the confines that we're all forced to deal with currently. All right, so we had Walter, Lakewood Playhouse. All right. Craig Frost, who is the president of the NAPC. For those who are unfamiliar with the NAPC, that's the Neighborhood Association President's Committee, which is where each president of the neighborhood associations get together and we work towards community outreach, solutions for things that are affecting each community, each one of our neighborhoods, and we share best practices, ideas, and solutions. So Craig Frost from Pineapple Beach is the president of that, and he'd sent over an update. He was going to be here. He was called into something else, so I'll read Craig's update for the NAPC. So they're working on getting the debates for the upcoming elections, municipal elections here in Lake Worth Beach. What we've done in the past, for those who don't know, the NAPC has sponsored an event at the Lake Worth Playhouse where we have all the candidates who are running for local office. This time around is a little bit different because we have one extra. We did have a seat that was vacated, and so that opened up District 2 for a special election. So normally we would have had 3 going right now. That'd be District 1, District 3, which is us, and then the mayor's race. As a reminder, even though we are District 3 and we do have a commissioner, Andy Amoroso, currently for our district, we vote for everybody. So we vote for all 4 districts and mayor. This time's a little different. Again, we have District 2 thrown in. So the only one that's not up is District 4. So that being said, given the circumstances, we're doing things a little differently. And there's also a lot of candidates that have thrown their hats in the ring. So because of the number of candidates and the rise in COVID cases, we've decided not to do the live event that we've done in the past, as that would last 6 to 6.5 hours and also present those obvious challenges. So we're going to be doing they're going to be recorded. I don't have the exact format, but I believe the questions are going to be provided and recordings will be done and some back and forth, and then we'll be releasing those. So that's the NEPC's way of assisting in getting those candidates' messages out to the voters in the city. Second, NAPC wishes to thank everyone, wants everyone to start thinking of a theme for the raft race this year. We are hoping that we can have it. I think there's some thought with the vaccine schedule maybe rolling through April to be able to have it this year. As you know, it was canceled last year, leaving Parrot Cove undefeated once again for that. Brian, did I see your hand go up, or was that to order something?
No, it was giving an idea of the raft race, to be the apocalypse.
The apocalypse. All right. Brian Gleason is suggesting the apocalypse. I've heard some other suggestions as well with just simply 2020, which would leave that open to a wide range of craziness. The Great Taste of Lake Worth. For those that are not familiar, the NAPC also puts on and hosts the Great Taste of Lake Worth. That's where we invite all the merchants downtown and around the city to have some offerings. There's a small fee paid, and then there's a sampling that's done at each of the locations. It's a very popular event each year. It's usually held in late winter, so that is going to be postponed until later in the year. Oh, well, this is a nice one. They would like to thank me for putting together the golf cart bicycle Christmas parade, which was one of the items we had on there. So thank you. I love thanking myself. I should have read these before. I would have had a better lead in than just that. Since we're on that, that was one of my topics. You guys may have seen the golf cart bicycle parade roll through that we had. Since there was no Lake Worth Beach holiday parade, we decided just to defy the authorities and do our own. And this thing lasted like 2 hours. We literally went from end to end of the city twice. We had probably 20 golf carts join. Probably, Brian, you were there, yes? Oh, you want to comment? No comment. Okay. Brian was part of it. He was on his bike. People had them decorated.
I was there.
You were there. I saw you. That's what I said. You were there.
John Fauci put that on the YouTube channel.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah, and then what that is if you saw that video, you would be then on the sidebar, you'll see other towns in U.S. America that did similar things, because a lot of municipalities did a formal parade. This little holiday parade on the YouTube channel garnered some views from thousands of other people.
Oh, wow. Okay. We'll have to check that out. So John Faust, who was the president of Downtown Jewel for many, many years and still does a lot of video for us. He did have a tripod set up and he recorded it. So I'm being told that a lot of people around the country had viewed that. So I'll see if we can get a link to that actually and put it on our Parrot Cove page so everybody can see that as well. And I would say the parade was a good couple of blocks long. The golf carts had music. We had a lot of people just coming out waving. So it was nice to be able to go through and just surprise some people and see smiling faces as we went up and down. And I think we covered eight neighborhoods that we rolled through. So the first thing that everybody said when we ended right here was, what day are we doing this next year? So we'll see what happens next year, but that may have been a nice start to an annual event. All right, let's see, leisure services. Bear with me for a moment here. Okay, so Lauren Bennett for the City of Lake Worth Beach Leisure Services has an update here. This is from Friday, so one of the items was taking place today. City celebrations, Life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. are taking place today and through the early evening. They're currently accepting registration for adult basketball, youth basketball clinics, and flag football. Registrations can be found at the city's website, which is lakeworthbeachfl.gov. I'll also forward this out to everybody in the email distribution list. Open for youth baseball and softball. The season has started for youth soccer. They have a few spots left. Same thing, information will be on there. Save the date. The city is working on family date night, Saturday, February 13th. More details to come soon. They will be hosting a socially distanced kids field day on February 27th. The Lake Worth Beach Library is now renting Wi-Fi hotspots. They'll be sending them below. As they say, check out the T-Mobile hotspot from Lake Worth Beach City Library. If you have a city library card, you can check out the hotspot for 2 weeks to use at home or on the go. And let's see. The rest of it kind of seems like an ad for T-Mobile. All right, very good. So the city's leisure services are doing their best, as we can see, to try to get some things going. With that being said, I understand that the Palm Beach County Pride events, which normally take place in February, are going to be delayed until, Adam Mayor, do you know? June, okay. So do we have a date yet for them? Or is it just going to be June sometime pending a date? Pending a date. All right, so it looks like we will be having our much beloved and celebrated Pride events this year. They're going to be in June, pending date, which we'll get that out there. All right, that's it for updates. We have a couple of just general items. I already spoke about the golf cart parade. Parrot Cove was the one that organized that, put it together. We had people from almost every other neighborhood join us, which was really great as we went through them all. So everyone had a good time. We really appreciated that, not being just our neighborhood. So it was nice to be able to reach out to the others. And also go right down South Palm Park for whoever didn't make it down there on Palm Way. They have a nice light display every year that goes on right there. So next year, check that out too. Some exciting news. We got a new House of the Month sign. We had a little contest in Parrot Cove. We asked some of our artists to present that. So Ozzy Ona's selection was decided on. We'll be having the new House of the Month sign made in the next couple of months. But a big thank you to Ellen Negley and Gail Silverblatt, a couple of other artists in the neighborhood, send that out. House of the Month, basically the board for Parrot Cove goes out and finds homes that are really doing their best to beautify themselves, or be beautified, I should say. And we give them a little sign in the bag, and really just a thank you to recognize that we appreciate everything that that the local neighbors are doing to keep our neighborhood beautiful. One other thing I will mention, because we had no events take place in 2020, we were largely just kind of stuck. So all 2020 memberships for Parrot Cove are rolling over with no fee to 2021. So for all members, that's just going to roll into the next year. For that as well, we've updated everything on that. That was also announced in the newsletter that was just delivered. The candidates meeting, Parrot Cove has hosted we usually call it sort of a meet the candidates versus the NAPC's debate. We started that a number of years ago when the NAPC did not have a debate that year. I will say at the moment, the board is deciding what we will do. Again, given the same circumstances or same challenges I'd mentioned earlier, just the sheer number of candidates, as well as with our COVID restrictions, distancing, and so forth. So we'll have some information coming soon on what we're going to do about that. Our theme in the past, or our angle, has been, sort of issues that Parrot Cove cares about, in general, that we want to see addressed. That's pretty much everything that I have that I want to talk about. I'll start with the room. Is there any questions, general comments that anybody has or would like to make? Yes. I've heard some rumors, as we may know, our mayor of Lake Worth Beach is here. She is a member of our association, so she's here tonight as a neighbor and member, but I'm going to exercise some privilege and ask if you can give us any information, if you happen to know on that.
Yeah, I know a couple of things. I know that right now, banks aren't lending money to hotels. So we've had, the Gulfstream has already gone through all the processes, it's filed all its paperwork, its plans, its design plans. So they are right now in the process of tweaking the project to contain more elements that are more financeable. So it's delayed the progress on it. But if you know anybody in that hospitality industry, that's just stopped. The only thing they're really paying for right now and lending for are rentals and some condos, depending on where the areas are. But that's pretty much been the case. So they're revising their plans. We're supposed to find out in the next week to 2 weeks. I actually have a call. I talked with the owners, just so you know, the new operators at least twice a week. And also propose some different types of financing and look among people down here. And we're going to be having some serious conversations about public-private partnerships in the next few months. And how do we get things done like every other city across America that has limited funds? Because we have a small tax base. You've got half the city paying for the whole city and taxes. But that's growing. I don't know if you guys saw how your property values, it pretty much skyrocketed the last year and then we'll get now. So it's pretty intense. Everyone's moving here. You'll find your neighbors, your new neighbors moving around, moving a lot of them from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, everywhere else across the globe. And corporations moving, relocating their operations from California to Florida now. So it's going to be pretty. We're very fortunate. We were so undervalued for so long that we're still the best ticket in town. We're the best industry. People are choosing to be here, as their first choice. So as for the hotel, back to that, I know that there's a lot of support, and they're a solid company that just did a beautiful grand opening in Sioux City, right in the middle of the pandemic. So anyone can get it done. They can get it done. I feel very confident, and I think that I put enough opportunities in front of them to be creative, to figure out how to do this. They're creative people, and they're really good people, and they're the right partner for Lakewood Beach. They really are. They've got people we would want as our neighbors, and they're good people. So I'm working as hard as I possibly can to keep them happy and moving forward, and we're trying to be a little creative.
I think the timeline for something cool.
I think it depends which way they want to go.
Well, no, have they provided a timeline for completion of the project?
For completion of the project?
Yeah.
Well, they're, we
It's a
have,
great building, and they should,
oh yeah,
so it's like, what have they provided as far as, their timeline?
they were planning to break ground in February. That was, they already submitted their plans, their permit. So they were planning to do that, but the bank's backing out, and there's some conversations that are taking place. Because the people that were building construction loans, and things like that, are not moving now to hospitality. So that's theirs. The hard thing is that it's not a city property, it's a private industry, it's a private building, and we don't own any part of it. So we can offer them any incentive that we want in the world, which is what we did. So we got there, we got the work to do it, and we gave them incentives and different things to do, but it stops short of there because it's not our property. Now, given the current situation and things that are going on, there may be ways that we can do that. And trust me, I've exhausted every opportunity, and they're investigating it, speaking with those different people right now. And hopefully, we'll find out, I was hoping to find out by the end of the month, which is what, 2 weeks away. I'm gonna be here every month with some of your new neighbors. You can ask me every time I come here.
Did you move to Parrot Cove?
Yeah.
Where?
314, North Lakeside.
Oh, nice.
Was a house that's had empty for how many years, 2 years?
Not that long.
He's open.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That was much better than I've heard some things. So thank you very much for jumping in on that. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? Luke, do we have any questions or anybody with,
Nothing from the chat.
okay. All right. Well, with that said, we'll wrap everything up. Thank you, everyone who came out in person, and thank you, everyone who's watching online, and we'll see you next month. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.